appearance is everything in the sport of Chachi. A warrior must look his best. His voice and speaking skills must be impeccable. If he is to shine in front of his audience and outplay his opponent, he's going to need more than just the bite of his bullwhip to reach its target. Straddling the equator off the coast of Southeast Asia is a necklace of islands that in the heydays of the Dutch and Portuguese empires was known as the East Indies. Here, in what is now the Republic of Indonesia, lies Flores. This is one of the largest islands in eastern Indonesia, over 200 miles long and home to almost 1.5 million people, who are divided into a number of ethnic groups. The Manggarai live in the western third of the island. Their homelands consist of several different tribes or communities, each of which has its own unique beliefs and institutions. But the art of war is something that binds all these communities together. And although the times of tribal violence are long gone, the way of the warrior is still celebrated in a unique sport known as Chachi, an ancient form of whip fighting. The agility, speed and toughness required by the participants of Chachi hint at the sport's original intent: to serve as an ancient training exercise that prepared warriors for war. Today's intentions are less murderous. Chachi has become a modern-day sport, held primarily to celebrate the year's harvest and give the men of the community a chance to show off their athletic prowess. This fighting tradition is introduced at an early age to Manggarai children. In fact, Chachi is one of the most important institutions in their culture. More than just a sport, it's a way of connecting with their ancestors. As evening approaches, the entire community gathers in the chief's house, a conical, high-roofed design that can easily accommodate several families. Legend has it that it was the Manggarai's ancestors who invented and still often play the Ngong Tembong, especially during important rituals. The onset of the dry season is a serious matter for the community, and the elders have decided to open the lines of communication between themselves and the ancestors. What begins today is a vigil of music that will last for 2 days and nights. The entire community, including men and women, young and old, gather to perform the first few songs, each describing daily events in Manggarai life. But as the hours progress, just the men take over the singing, using a secret language reserved only for addressing the ancestors directly. The community is headed by 3 brothers, and now Elder Fabianas Bahat offers up the promise of a sacrifice to the ancestors. In return, the ancestors must ensure a good harvest for the year to come, but the bargain can only be sealed with one more offering on the part of the Manggarai. In the morning, pain will be inflicted and blood may be shed. It will be time for the Chachi, or whip fighting tournament. Without this punishing display of agility and toughness, no agreement can be met between the living and the dead. So rituals must be made and contestants prepared for the ordeal to come. In the morning, the time for songs and offerings is over. It'll be time for action. 4 warriors will face each other in a unique sport that combines physical strength with clever dialogue. The dry season has arrived in the island of Flores, and water is becoming scarce. Everything and everyone is feeling the heat. The time for Chachi has arrived, and the elders have invited men from an adjoining village to visit and challenge their fighters in these contests of bravery. Meanwhile, in the empty arena outside, the youngsters take advantage of the preparation time needed for the main event. In near-perfect mimicry of their elders, the boys hold their own Chachi contest, and they pull no punches. The fighting is fierce, and the whips find their marks often, but the little fighters carry their wounds with pride, anxious to show off their toughness and bravery. The bruises will disappear with time, but the significance of the homegrown sport will remain with them forever. As the fighters and their entourage prepare themselves and become psyched up for the tournament, the spectators assemble, and the host team and visitors take up their positions around the village centre. The elders supporting the home team strike up a chorus, singing the praises of the fighters and offering up a challenge to the visitors to better them. In response, the visiting team takes up the same song, thereby accepting the challenge and setting the scene for the upcoming fight. Assembled around the fighting grounds are the women, who will entertain the audience between bouts with gong music. They are the Manggarai equivalent of sideline cheerleaders, encouraging the warriors as the fight progresses. The opening bout gets underway amid great excitement. Only one pair of contestants fight at any one time, each man alternatively attacking and defending. After about 4 tries at hitting and defending, a player will rejoin his teammate to be replaced by another. After avoiding a blow, a defender draws attention to his prowess by prancing out of range as he calls out insults or whirls about in a brief dance, bells jingling, cloth wraps flashing to impress the girls, or hurriedly sings out snatches of verse ridiculing his adversary's clumsiness. Before long, he will then take up the whip, handing over the shield and pole to the other man. The equipment used in a Chachi fight is filled with symbolism and meaning for the tribe. The aggressor's whip is made out of rattan with a leather-covered handle. It stands symbolically for the male, the phallic element, the father and the sky. The defender's round shield, on the other hand, represents the female, the womb and the earth. It is usually made out of bamboo, rattan, and covered with buffalo skin. As these meanings suggest, the male and the female elements are united whenever the whip hits the shield, a unity which is an essential premise for giving life.
Lambang damit Manggarai, budaya Manggarai ko seluruh. Bangka one budaya main, one baru, boleh gitu one keluarga, porong niku kakak ko, ngerone taung ranga, kakak ko 1 bulan. Go lambang, one baru main, sangge au kakak ko. Pertaman, panggal ko mede. Pandai latatu adat mede, kesenian adat Manggarai. Itu yang main bunga-bunga. Ampung kolego sesuai gua lagu adat Manggarai menari. Go kole panggal go. Tara paden go na air rantang kena no. Kena larik biana. Itu tara lo ke kaba go na bonen lo ke kaba pandai hias yang mana hias kun lelo litega ome kut songka adat Manggarai ga seni kita.
Clutching a shield of buffalo hide in one hand and a pole made from tightly interwoven branches in the other, a contestant is ready to defend himself against direct blows. Side swings that evade these defences are stopped by a buffalo head-shaped mask that protects the face. A thick cloth supplies the padding to safeguard the head. To suppress force of any hit his shoulders might suffer, a man will drape another substantial cloth around his shoulders. The colourful bells and cloth wraps that encircle a fighter's waist are flashy augmentations intended strictly for show. The ornaments are meant to attract female eyes. Beneath the formal trappings of ritual and competition, whip fights also often serve as the initial stages of courtship. The competitive goal of any whip fight is to strike the opponent in the eye. If it does, the striker's team not only wins the contest in which the hit has occurred, but immediately wins the entire series of combats in the tournament. Blows to the back are far more common. As the bouts progress, the intensity of the whipping increases. The final result of each tournament is never as important as the actual participation of the fighters. Custom and tradition requires young Manggarai boys to also follow the ritual of Chachi, although the pain and discomfort involved is often enough to put most off the sport. But Manggarai tradition remains strong in this part of Flores, and the sport continues, no matter how painful the experience may be. The Chachi fight continues in earnest, and both teams are doing well. The fights are coming strong and fast, and the players are still performing their parts in strong voice. As well as the actual fighting, there's a lot of play acting involved as well. A fighter takes great delight in making fun out of his rival. This endears him to the audience and also distracts his opponent during the exchange of blows. These are the basic elements of sports entertainment. The Manggarai fighters have been sweet-talking their fans far longer than any modern-day professional wrestling star. Although its roots are found in ancient ritual and custom, whip fighting has also spread and diversified throughout the modern world. Latigo y daga literally translates as whip and dagger in Spanish. This is a Filipino martial art and focuses on the use of whips as weapons of deadly accuracy. Whip boxing has become an emerging event in Australia. The sport combines the target work of whip cracking with full-on person-to-person combat. A game is won by striking the opponent's face 3 times. The sport is particularly popular in rural areas among Australia's farming community, where crowds gather in their hundreds to watch regular weekend whip boxing competitions. As the day progresses, weariness slowly creeps in, until finally one of the fighters slips up as he faces his opponent's whip. He makes a swift counterattack by responding with a hearty cry, persuading the crowd that he was not hurt and is still as fit as a fiddle. These are tactics and performances honed and perfected after decades spent practicing Chachi.
Latih sa sidami danong ga, memang laingone kelas 4 main danong sa sidami ga. Dengkir aku takon nuwa taya tipa vero lai sekolah main danong lami pandai main caci ko ga. Sehingga dengkir takon main caci lami ga anggap biasa. One labar caci ko asada kungko. Ai kudut pandai lomes niaga. Ngko kanahan kal ka tengan se kudut da manga kole tentang labar kole atau selain one mai alat caci ko. Kudut pandai lomes kolen kali jaga one mai gaya ho. Itu pandai lebih gaya kole gitu ga, lebih lomes kole gitu. Tambang kole ome manga dere kole gitu. Ombe yang kita pasi. Itu setengah perlengkapan da caci gitu. Kena mulai ya tetap right. Yo halen, yo awon, kena. Tere tang lagi, te anggo idege, toy. Tetap right kali tetap gaya.
The tournament finally draws to an end. As the elders ponder on the results, both sides join in a celebratory song and dance. Victory this time could not be determined by the outcome of the whip fight itself. A winning blow to the face or eyes was not made by either side, so the headmen must next judge the fighters on the skill of their spoken words. A clear winner then emerges. It's Stefanias. With over 30 years of Chachi experience behind him, he has wooed the crowds and judges with his vocal skills and prowess. Manggarai chief Rafael Kolong announces the result, praising the bravery and strength of both teams and consequently hoping for a favourable reaction from the ancestors.
One baru, poli gitu one keluarga. Porong niku kakak ko, grone tang ranga kakak ko 1 bulan. Ai pane kakak ko lata tua danong, so tara ala luit kaba. Ai luit kaba ko toi pane pinanayang dia pakina. Olo manga acara penting, persembahan Damit Manggarai, budaya Damit Manggarai. Paki kaba gitu atau mehen persembahan Damit. Kaba temang bepiang gitu. Apa-apa perlu Damit Manggarai pakai kaba. Itu tara ala luit kaba.
As the day draws to an end, the elders of the community must now fulfill their promise to the ancestors. In return for a good day filled with fine chachi performances, the sacrifice must now be made in thanks. The outside world today is ringing in changes for the Manggarai. Tourists find the novelty of whip fighting irresistible, so Manggarai tradition is adapting itself to an alien audience's expectations. Instead of performing whip fights only on occasions strictly set aside for the community, some villagers are now willing to stage them whenever a tourist offers cash. For now, however, chachi remains part of a living tradition. The whip fight will now encourage the rains to arrive promptly and the crops to be nourished. There will be a good harvest in the months to come, thanks to the ancient pledge of the Manggarai warrior.